Hello everyone, we are the Heritage Network trainees of the Heritage Network. I'm Ulla, the Heritage trainee for Scotland,
I'm Maya, the Heritage Trainee for England.
And I'm Marlene, the UK Heritage Trainee.
and we'll be sharing today what the Heritage Network does, why it matters to you, and how we intend to navigate the question of youth involvement in heritage. As our title suggests, our opinion is nothing about us without us. In broad terms, we are a membership organisation operating across the UK, bringing together and supporting groups, charities, and social enterprises. Our members consist of a variety of different organisations operating out of historical buildings, from community centres and art spaces to museums and offices. Our mission is to empower people to rescue and reuse historical buildings and spaces for the benefit of their communities. And we do this by giving our members support through peer-to-peer learning, knowledge sharing, networking, and helping our members throughout their regeneration projects. Some quick stats. We have 1,138 members across the UK. 338 of those 338 of those are students who take advantage of our free membership. And on top of that, we have 425 Youth Forum members, of which Maya will tell you about very shortly. Which brings me on to the focus of our presentation. At the Heritage Network, we're a big advocate for louder youth voices within the heritage sector. And like our abstract points out, nothing about us without us. Essential Networks is our 3-year funding plan supported by the National Heritage Lottery Fund, and within this, youth engagement is one of our key targets. Starting in 2022, the Heritage Network has been awarded funding for traineeships lasting from 6 to 12 months based across England, Scotland, Wales, and the whole of the UK. An amazing opportunity for young people who want to begin their career in the heritage sector to get experience whilst developing their professional skills. However, as I'm sure many of you are aware, an issue the sector currently has is the limited number of opportunities like these, which is why the Heritage Network has created Step on Board and Digital Heroes. Step on Board is the Heritage Network's initiative to connect young people with heritage organisations seeking a young voice on their boards. The last cohort, we had 58 applications from across the UK, which just goes to show the demand of young people wanting to have a more direct involvement in heritage. Unfortunately, we had a lot of organisations who wanted to apply but felt that they didn't have the resources to support a young trustee at the time, which shows that it will take collaboration and support from across the sector to grow opportunities for young people. However, we were able to successfully match 12 organisations with 14 young people, with one of our members taking on 3 young trustees. A great start to getting voices at the centre of heritage and creating these real-life opportunities. Digital Heroes is the Heritage Network's initiative to grow volunteer opportunities for young people within heritage even further. We recruit, train, and match young volunteers with our members across the UK. Each placement is personal to the digital volunteer and member and can vary from website design, social media, and fundraising. This opportunity gives young people the space to work closely with an organisation, making direct impact and helping to secure the future of heritage sites, whilst gaining valuable experience, developing digital skills, and expanding their network within the heritage sector. Last year, we successfully matched 9 applicants, and we already have 2 matches this year who are getting started on their placements. I will now let Maya tell you about our amazing youth forum.
Thank you, Ulla. The Youth Forum is a growing community also of 18 to 30-year-olds interested in and working in heritage. The vision when it started in 2022 was to create a community space where young people could take part in discussing the shape of heritage, what they wanted it to be, and how we might carve this space. They wanted to create an inclusive space where young people were able to create outputs for the sector. But overwhelmingly over the last few years, we've noticed that it is the desire for community that brings our members to the forum. Quickly, a note on why we have chosen 18 to 30-year-olds as our age range. It is partly because it is an age group often left out of Heritage's focus, with a lot more work being done on school-age children and becoming inclusive and relevant to them, whereas young adults there is less of an emphasis. But also because your life changes so dramatically in your 20s, having members at all stages of involvement with heritage allows the Young Youth Forum to be a place of peer learning and mentoring support. Now, 4 years on from its creation, our youth forum is over 400 strong. We're not going to pretend our active community is consistently that big, but we know that our forum has the potential to fulfill the vision of a strong advocacy base and, above all, a community of young people in heritage. Some of our activities include our blog and podcast, where members can share their thoughts on the field of heritage, but ultimately practice their editing and writing skills and managing projects. Our growing advice library, which is the joint effort of members with more established heritage positions, as well as early career members, kind of feeding in what they'd like to get advice on. As well, we have our subgroup heritage discussions, which are places where topics like EDI, climate change, and kind of heritage skills are analysed and workshopped, as well as many more. We primarily use Discord as our place of conversation. We know it's not everyone's immediate cup of tea, but we feel like it is a really valuable space to have a separate discussions in many different forum spaces and host a young community on a distinctly young social platform. Ultimately, what makes the Youth Forum unique is its separation from any one institution. Unlike other youth initiatives run by and for specifically large heritage organisations, the Youth Forum is run for and by young people in heritage. It is a field where young people are asked only to co-produce answers rather than co-produce questions, and in that space, our forum is necessary.
And we're really trying to do this again and to utilize the unique space that the Youth Forum is with our news project, which is undertaking co-creation with the Youth Forum members, the development of a youth engagement toolkit. And the presentation of this toolkit will be our last point for today's presentation. So what is our plan, our vision for the youth engagement toolkit? It is, in a nutshell, a manifesto by young people explaining how a meaningful engagement of them by heritage organizations can, or maybe even should look like, with all the Youth Forum members involved credited. The idea for this really stems from a need of many of our member organizations who want and are trying to engage young people in the right way, but are not quite sure how best to do this or where to start. So they ask us for our opinion and for help from the Heritage Network. Now, we could just tell them what we think they should do, but we thought that's not really useful. This conversation should be led by young people, because as we say in our title, nothing about us without us. We do have to say that we are not going to present the toolkit as a finished product today, because it is actually not finished at this point in time. We are rather at the beginning of the production. So how does it look like and what are our plans for the future? The plan is basically for us as the Heritage Network to ensure a framework for the Youth Forum members to create this call for action. This framework consists of a few points. So for example, we are planning to support them by looking at examples of other toolkits and suggesting things and structures to them that might work well for our project. We also want to reach out to member organizations that already work a lot with young people. The wonderful thing about the Heritage Network members is that they're all quite diverse. So we have a number of members that are more accidental custodians of heritage sites, which is why they're a Heritage Network member, but their day-to-day business is not heritage at all, but they are, for example, actually a youth club. And we would like to also bring those voices into the conversation to allow the Youth Forum members to have another point of consideration. And finally, we are thinking about surveying our members directly to let us know what it is they would like to read in such a toolkit, while at the same time being quite conscious of the fact that this survey should not dictate the actual output for the toolkit from the Youth Forum members. We are planning to use this again as a potential starting point for conversations. So what has happened so far? There are a few questions that have been developed, which might function as a starting point of discussion, which you can see here. So it's about how do young audiences wish to be addressed by heritage organizations and involved, what they are passionate about in regards to heritage organizations or the sector in general, what gaps they see and how they think they could support to address them, what career help heritage organizations could offer, and how heritage organizations could best implement feedback from young audiences. Creating this toolkit is particularly interesting for us as the Heritage Trainees, since we are both part of the heritage sector that tries to engage young people. And at least in our definition of youth, we're also understood to be a young person. This is quite the interesting dual role that we take on in this moment. And we try to always reflect ourselves to a certain degree when it comes to our involvement with the creation of this toolkit, which hat we are wearing in what moment. Once the toolkit is hopefully developed by the end of August, we are planning to present the toolkit to both the sector and our members at the Heritage Network Conference, which this year is in Belfast and Armagh. The hope is to also have some of the Youth Forum members there to present their work. And then there will be some printed versions, which can then also be handed out at future Heritage Network events. And of course, it will be published on our website alongside the placemaking manifesto by the Youth Forum members, which they've done a few years ago, just as a resource to be used both by our members and the wider sector. We don't want it to be a fully static thing, though. Our hope is for the toolkit to evolve and to grow this resource over time, especially since at the moment it will only talk about engaging young people who are already interested in heritage. A long-term goal could potentially be to also include some projects on how to best engage young people who are not interested in the heritage sector to begin with, but one step at a time. As we are saying, this toolkit is still very much in production. So if you're a young person between 18 and 30 years old and interested in getting involved, please reach out to us. You have our website here. You can scan the QR code or you can email us at the email address provided. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.